Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of the Nerd Today podcast. I'm your illustrious host, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, Carlos Rodriguez, aka your Nerd Today. And how you doing? It's been a little bit since our last episode of the podcast proper, but we are back like a bad habit and wanted to let that one breathe. You know, it was a heavy subject and got a lot of positive reviews, but still it's a heavy subject, and I want to, crowd that space. Also, I've just been busy with life, vacation, stuff like that. But I want to give a special shout out to my co-host in the last episode, Gina. Thank you again for coming back on. It was a pleasure to have you and to just discuss mental health and the state of our mental health and, highlight Minority Mental Health Month, which was last month in July. So yeah, that was that episode. But for this episode, we are doing a debut. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary folk out there. We are doing something special. I have previously reviewed games. I reviewed a movie on this podcast as well. Did they do good? No. They didn't, but that's okay. I tried. I tried to, yeah, they did what they needed to do. I'm getting there. But I got a new system that may be someone else's system that I'm adapting to my system. We'll see how this goes. But before we get into the nitty gritty of that, wanted to shout out people who pay the bills. My August Patreon sponsors. That's right. If you want to support me monetarily, you can go to patreon.com/nerdtoday. Throw a couple bucks my way. If you don't have any bucks to toss me, do not worry. Like, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter. I guess you can't see that. It says it's my username. It's in the description, audio and video. Don't worry about it. But I want to shout out my awesome patrons out there, the Matt and Maggie over at Hopefully Awesome. They are awesome, as I mention all the time. Almost caught up with their Smallville podcast, loving their stuff. Also, shout out to you guys for sending me over that little 15-minute introspective of tattooed alien fighters from Beverly Hills. That was really fun to watch this morning. Jeff Felsher, the homie. I'm an idiot, Jeff. I'm an idiot. You're listening to this? Please text me and remind me to give you this PS4. This is yours, bro. I just cannot remember. Susan, my lovely birthday twin. Rest Pass, my co-host at Apron. We're almost back. We're getting ready to come back from summer vacation with a lot of stuff to talk about, because it's a new day. Yes, it is. And Brandon, which I will be seeing next week. Can't wait to see you, man. All right. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about reviews. So at Nerd Today, I am going to start doing reviews. I try to play, a decent amount of games. And obviously if there's a piece of media I would like to discuss, I will. Typically they're green related. So like Ninja Turtle stuff. Not that happens to do good numbers on YouTube, but I also just love Ninja Turtles. I love talking about it. And apparently the people like listening to me talk about it. So that's kind of cool. So that may be a movie review down the line once I finish Rise. But yeah, I'm launching reviews. This is the first review. I went through the games I've completed this year, and I'm not complete all of them. Like some main campaigns are done, and some side stuff is done for certain games, but not like the full be all end all top to bottom. So we're working on that. We're working our way through that. But this is special, and we are going through my list right here that I have. I have so far 8 games I've beaten this year. Very proud of myself. Pretty good track. Of course, there's some smaller titles, but who cares? It doesn't bump the numbers up or whatever. But what we're going to do today is an audio discussion about Bastion, which I complete this year. So this is the debut of the Nerd Today review scale, which is, to be perfectly honest and transparent, the kind of funny scale just with my face. That's it. Just me talking instead of them. Also not playing the same games as them, but still It's the same concept. If you know what the kind of funny review scale is, it's the Nerd Today review scale. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think Greg Miller is gonna, sue me. I don't know about Nick Scarpino. I don't think Greg's gonna sue me. Tim might somehow cancel my show. That's a deep cut if you're a Kind of Funny fan. That's not anything towards Nick or Tim or anything. That's legit. If you're a Kind of Funny fan, there's like an inside joke that he cancels shows. That's literally it. I'm not not on that. If you guys ever want me on KFGD, Snowbike Mike, you want to hit me up for XCast? I'm here, brother. I'm here. Just let me know. But yeah, so to go over the review scale, I'll do it for the next couple videos, and then I guess I have like a tweet about it and stuff like that. So at the 1 to 5 scale, 1 is terrible, 2 bad, 3 okay, but that could be good okay. Like, oh, that was pretty good. That was pretty okay, or bad, or like meh, like meh. It's not offensive, but it is what it is. 4 is great, and then 5 is amazing. 5 doesn't necessarily mean 10 out of 10, the perfect, like that IGN scale, where it's like it literally hits every marker. Like it just does something special for me specifically. So to kick right into it, Bastion. I started Bastion a while back, and on Vita, played a couple levels. It just didn't click. But I know how many people love Supergiant and the developers of it. And I was like, I'm going to give it a shot again. So I popped it on my PS5, restarted it, and completed it this year. So a couple details and some notes that I have here about Supergiant. They were Bastion was developed and published by Supergiant Games. A little anecdote there. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment served as publisher from release until September 2019, at which point Supergiant took over publishing operations. This was Supergiant's first video game. I believe they started the studio with 7 people on staff. And then, so there was that. I played the PS4 version on PS5. Just for transparency of what I played it on and how I played it. The story game takes place in the aftermath of the calamity, a catastrophic event that suddenly fractured the city of Caledonia, and as well as the surrounding areas of the game's world into many floating pieces, disrupting its ecology and reducing most of its people to ash. Players can take control of the Kid, a silent protagonist who awakens on one of the few remaining pieces of the old world and sets off for the eponymous Bastion. I took this from their website, by the way, where everyone was supposed to go in troubled times. The only survivor he meets there is an elderly man named Ruckus, the game's narrator, who instructs him to collect the cores that once power Caledonia. A device in the Bastion can use the power of the crystalline cores to create landmasses and structures, as well as enable the Kid to travel farther afield via skyways that propel him through the air. Now, with my reviews, I have sections split up, and this is kind of like a test run / my first review in 2022 for gaming and anything related. So I always have a who developed the game, how I played it for transparency's sake, story, because that's one of the most important things for me in gaming. If there's any spoilers I want to mention, I have a spoiler section. Any negative things I will highlight here at that moment, and then there's a breakdown of gameplay, and then my final verdict on the game. So spoiler section. There's nothing to spoil. This game, which it just kind of kicks it right into the negativity side of it, and this is not necessarily like a negativity thing, should I say. The story's not the focus of the game to me personally. It's just something to push you along level to level. The core loop of the game, it being an isometric action game where, like, I have notes here, like, you as a kid go from level to level, fighting enemies, collecting fragments to upgrade your weapons and items, fighting bosses, collecting the cores, to upgrade the Bastion, which is your base of operations. All of this happens while Ruckus, who you meet in the beginning, is narrating your every move. Like, oh, the Kid went off to the side and fell down the wall. Why would he do that? Oh, he did it again. Why did he do that? This is my horrible attempt, that awesome voice actor's voice as Ruckus. But that's kind of the only thing. And it's not necessarily like a negative thing. For me personally, though, it's just story plays such an important thing to my gameplay experience. Like, for instance, Street Fighter has a story, and I want to know about Chun-Li and, you know, her time with Interpol, and then her adopting this little girl and stuff. Like, that's important. That's actually a thing. And I know a lot of people say like fighting games don't have stories until like Mortal Kombat or whatever, but like, it's there. You know, I want to know about Balrog's history. You know, I want to know about Jury and this new ninja Kimberly. Sorry, I just watched a bunch of trailers for Street Fighter, as you could tell. But games to me are very important and very, for me, focused on the story. Like, that's a very important detail for me, and thing that I want to like highlight. And for Bastion, it's not really there for me. It has a story. I was kind of starting to like get a feel for it at near the end, and you know, I kind of cared about what decision I made. You have 2 decision spoilers that you can kind of leave the world, go, or kind of restart it, and I chose to leave the world, and I thought that was a better ending, and it seems a lot of people online tend to agree. But I played it. It stuck with me. I'm really excited to like try their next games and see how they adapt as a studio and how they progress. I know so many people love Hades. I haven't got a chance to play it, but knowing that, you know, Transistor is supposed to be great. A lot of people like Pyre, and then Hades is like their masterpiece. It's exciting to see the beginning of where they start, develop wise and, you know, publisher wise. And like I said, it's just me. To me personally, the negativity is that there's not much of a story, but that's not that much of a hindrance. Like, I had so much fun in the gameplay loop that it kept progressing me forward. I was like, oh, I'm having fun enough, and this is really great. So, to kind of wrap everything up for this very short, kind of brief test flight for the new review system in Nerd Today. Shout out. My final verdict. While not super in depth, you know, story-wise, for my personal taste, as I mentioned before multiple times, Bastion's a fun, bright, colorful game, and shows why Supergiant is a studio with power in the gaming space. It gets a 3 out of me, a good okay out of 5, and I can't wait to try Hades. I can't wait to make my way through their catalog and get to Hades. But as that was very brief, very quick, this little late night recording for me as I figure out what I'm doing, how I'm figuring this out, and how we're working toward that. I'd like to thank everyone who's watching and supporting me at, you know, Nerd Today. You can follow me on Twitter at nerd_a_day. You can, you know, hit me up at youtube.com/nerdtoday, twitch.tv/nerdtoday for my live content. Then the VODs will be on youtube.com/nerdtoday. And if you have a couple bucks to toss me, that'd be great. You know, patreon.com/nerdtoday. Thank you so much. And, you know, it was fun, quick. Let's catch you on the next one, guys.